and gentlemen, as we get even closer to All-Star Race Weekend, we get ready for the Monster Mile. This is Dover International Raceway as we get set for our 11th race of the season for the Hersheys Cup Series non-charter series. We've got this track. Next week we go to Richmond, and then we have our Hersheys Cup Series All-Star Race, which a number of drivers in this field for the non-charter series are actually locked into, because one thing that we have this season that's a little bit different from previous seasons is, since the Hersheys Cup Series non-charter series is a subset of the Hersheys Cup Series, a win in this series actually gets you into the All-Star Race. So a number of drivers that have already been to victory lane this season in the non-charter series will be locked into the All-Star Race due to the win they have this year in the non-charter series. So that means we'll be seeing Daniel Gilbert, Kev Shearer, Seth Cole, Cole Deaver, Tyler Deaver, Zachary Stultz, Henry Nova, all these guys, they're going to be in the All-Star Race. They won't have to race their way in, so that'll make it very, very interesting. It'll be 40 laps of racing here today. Of course, basically the same as it's always been this season. These drivers trying to get a win, they're trying to get themselves into the top 5 in standings for the at the end of the season, and they're trying to finish in the top 7 here today so they can not only take part in today's Hersheys Cup Series non-charter event, but in 2 weeks, or for 2 days from now, the main event. Let's go down and get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
The command to fire him up as Carson Gum lines up on the pole position for this one. Carson Gum, I mean, think about the season he's having so far. Not good at all here in the Hersheys Cup Series. He started out making it into the Daytona 500. It was looking like it was going to be a really good season for him, but he is 40th in the point standings out of 42 drivers. That is how poor a season it has been to start for that 85 team out of Red Dragon Motorsports. The top 5 in the point standings coming to this race. Daniel Gilbert by 1 point reclaimed the points lead after last week's race at Orlando. Kev Shearer dropped down to second, but as I said, only 1 point back. 6 points back in third is Caleb Farrell, so the point standings really close up in the front. Stephen Pollard III and Seth Cole, that's the top 5 in the standings coming into this race. That is David Culpepper, Quentin Moore, last week's winner Daniel Olson, Chloe Erickson, and Becca Tellier is 10th in the standings. Will we see another driver go to victory lane here today at Dover? We've only got one two-time winner so far this season, that of course being Cody Smart. And this is Dover. Track position could be a huge factor in this race. So those that qualified at the front may have benefited if this thing goes long green flag run. Speaking of green, the green flag is out. We're underway here at Dover. Call this the Monster Mile for nothing. Oh boy. Quentin Moore going to get stuck up on the high side. They're 3 wide already for the third position. Nick Guenther putting John Brunel in the middle. And Guenther will go to third right behind his teammate LaPlante. And there you see right there, that's why this is the Monster Mile. It's concrete. It's not asphalt like these drivers are used to driving on. Daniel Gilbert just got dumped by Chris Dollerton. That's going to be a caution. They're going to race back to the line as LaPlante realizes this. He's going to make the move on Carson Gum and try and get back to the start-finish line first. Carson's going to have to give him the inside line, and he will give up the race lead. That outside line, no grip, as the sun's been beating on this racetrack all day long. And concrete, as I was going to say, as opposed to asphalt, you get a lot of heat built up. Whoa! You get a lot of heat built up, and there's no grip. And oh, we got a lot of cars involved in this one. J Cittadino, a lot of damage. I think that was DJ Kurtis Angel Navarro. One was jacked up under the other back there in turn 1. Oh boy, 2 of the Furniture Row Motorsports cars, Seth Cole and J Cittadino, involved in this one. See Daniel Gilbert on pit road. There's DJ Kurtis. And I noticed both Kev Shear. Oh, more trouble. That's Stephen Pollard III, and I think that's Trace Williams. It is. And I noticed that second and third in points were way back here. Kev Shearer and Caleb Farrell, but it looks like they got through relatively unscathed of whatever happened. Can't tell if there's damage on Noah Carr's Dodge Dart or not. A couple more cars coming to pit road. It's Matt McIntyre, the Buick. A lot of front end damage on his machine. Zachary Stultz has got damage. Chloe Erickson, rear end damage on her Ford Mustang. Alex Gray's got some right side damage. There's the car that turned Daniel Gilbert, Chris Dollerton. He's got damage on just about every side of his Honda Accord. Everybody up here, I think, got through the wreck. So, Austin LaPlante leads us into our first caution. Let's go take a look at a replay of what happened. Off turn 4, either Chris Dollerton got tight or Daniel Gilbert got loose and came down across Dollerton's nose. It could have been actually a combination of both. Daniel Gilbert noses it hard into the inside wall, and then this is where the problems begin. At least I think this is where it is. No, they actually saved it. Now I know DJ Kurtis. Oh, this is it right there. Dollerton came back up into traffic right in front of DJ Kurtis. Navarro gets clipped. Nowhere for Stultz to go. Cittadino completely blockaded in. So it was actually Dollerton that triggered the secondary wreck, coming back up into traffic there in turn 1. There's where Alex Gray gets involved. I saw he had some right side damage, and that would be why. Seth Cole never slows down. He just clobbers his teammate. Tripatacuvernio, Stephen Pollard III, Matt McIntyre all getting involved there. There's a couple of cars flipping over, Cittadino and Navarro. Chelsea Bowles, I think she might have gotten through fairly unscathed. There you see Kev Shearer back there along with Caleb Farrell. There's Zachary Stultz getting another piece of it. Nice job by Phil Parker to get to the bottom, along with Jordan Lopez to avoid. I think Zoerlein and Richardson also got through without any damage. And another shot there from Seth Cole. So about maybe 8 to 10 cars involved in this one, when more than likely... Oh! And then there's what happens there with... Oh! DJ Kurtis's car was up on the banking and then kind of drifted back down right on top of Navarro's hood. So that's what was going on there. But it more than likely would have been only 2 cars, Gilbert and Dollerton, if Dollerton hadn't merged back up into traffic. Now let's see what happened a little bit later on between Pollard and Williams. Looks like here everybody had crossed the line. They were under caution, and Pollard just never slowed down. Runs into the back of Chloe Erickson, and a lot of damage now on his machine. And then there you see Trace Williams nowhere to go, and there's where Chelsea Bowles might have gotten some damage as well. Well, you think back to Orlando, Chloe Erickson got turned by Tripatacuvernio, had rear end damage, and she ended up still transferring into the main event race, finishing, I think it was in the 4th position. So maybe that rear end damage will help her out today. Who knows? But Trace Williams is out of the race, and Stephen Pollard III now has sustained a lot of damage as well on his Ford Fusion. Let's go back now for the green. And apparently the stack-up we saw there with Pollard and Chloe Erickson wasn't the only stack-up we had under caution. If you look closely, Austin LaPlante has rear end damage now on his Boston Market Cobalt Chevrolet. I don't know if he got run into the back of by Carson Gum. There doesn't seem to be any visible front-end damage on Carson's machine, so I'm not rightly certain where that rear-end damage came from. Daniel Gilbert, DJ Kurtis, they will line up a lap down on the inside line. We do have 5 drivers out of the race, though. Stephen Pollard III, Trace Williams, John Cittadino, Angel Navarro, and Seth Cole have all retired from the race. Tough break there for Seth Cole. Came into this race 5th in the points. Stephen Pollard came into this race 4th in points. So going to be a couple of drivers taking some pretty big hits in the standings. It'll be LaPlante over Carson Gum, Nick Guenther, Henry Nova, and John Bunnell when we go back green. Or make that Christian Merrick Jr. in the top 5, I should say. Then Dougie Shears, Colt Deaver, Quentin Moore, Sean Henley, and Becca Tellier. That is your top 10. As the green flag will come back out with about 34 laps to go on lap number 7. LaPlante making quick work of Daniel Gilbert and DJ Kurtis, puts his car back to the bottom. Carson Gum has also cleared the lap traffic on the high side out of 2. Guenther has done the same, and here comes Carson Gum trying to dive it down to the inside in 3. Couldn't quite get to the left rear quarter panel of Austin LaPlante. Nova is now moved to 4th. He's now clear of the traffic as well, so the top 4 have cleared the lap machines. Gum trying to find a way past Austin LaPlante. If these two can battle each other, that's going to bring Nick Guenther and Henry Nova into the picture. Now, out of the top 4, only one of these drivers has been to victory lane this season, that of course being Henry Nova. And Carson Gum to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to be able to make it stick, and he will go back to the race lead. This track is so deceptive in the way of the asphalt being concrete as opposed to asphalt, because in certain areas it's almost a bluish grayish, and I keep thinking that's where some smoke is lingering from somebody with a mechanical problem, but it's not the case. Carson Gum showing the way out in front, and we're under caution. I was thinking maybe we'd settle into a long green flag run. I was just about to say, it looks like we may be able to see what these drivers can do under long conditions of racing, but nope, caution's back out. And this could be a problem. Look out, Matt McIntyre right in the middle of the track. That's the one problem with Dover particularly. It's only a mile long, and a lot of people, they don't consider it a short track. I kind of do, since even though it is a mile long, it doesn't take long if a wreck happens for the leaders to all of a sudden find themselves right at the tail end of that wreck. We've seen so many times here at Dover where a wreck happens at the rear of the field, the leaders end up getting involved in it because it takes so long for drivers to leave the scene of the accident. We got some cars smoking on pit road. Driver Vernio, Paul Minnick, Matt McIntyre for a second time. Chloe Erickson, and I couldn't tell who the smoking car was. Oh, that's Alex Gray in the Exalta Chevrolet. So we had another multi-car wreck here at Dover, and we have not even reached the halfway point. Let's go take a look at a replay. Well, this one's going to be about mid-pack, and it starts with our Rio race winner, Tyler Deaver in the 96. Again, coming off turn number 4. And I think he's going to get a little bit of help from Chloe Erickson in the 46. His car was a little bit sideways already off of 4, and I think she just kind of helped it. Gets down to the inside retaining wall, and the problem is he tries to save it and turns it back up the racetrack, and that's just going to send him back up into traffic. Nowhere for DJ Kurtis to go there. The lap machine sandwiched between the wall and Chloe Erickson. Noah Cars gets involved. Steven Gonzalez gets a piece of this as well. Quentin Moore was kind of boxed in up there on the high side between Noah Cars and Erickson, and I think he's going to get some damage. Yeah, he's going to spin. Caleb Farrell's involved. There's Matt McIntyre, Alex Gray, and Paul Minnick, both of the James Qualls Motorsports cars involved. Tripentacchio Vernio is going to come to a halt, it looks like. But I did see him on pit road, so he might have gotten a little bit of damage. There was another car that actually came to pit road as well, around the same time that Steven Gonzalez just did under caution, and that was the car of Christian Merrick Jr. So let's see if we can find out what happened to the 232. Well, here's what happened. It wasn't a wreck. We've had our first mechanical problem of the day. There you see, just moments after teammate Tripentacchio Vernio gets involved in a wreck, the engine on the number 232 Target Chevrolet out of Climber Tech Motorsports lets go out of 4. And that actually almost caused another wreck back there between Zoerlein, Culpepper, and Kev Shearer. But fortunately, they all kept it together and made it to the line, coming to the caution flag. So tough break there, mechanical problem for Christian Merrick Jr.'s team. And he wasn't exactly close to the top 7, but I mean, his car was one of the cleaner cars on the racetrack based on the 2 cautions we've had so far today. So as we get ready to go back green, we have some more lap traffic that these drivers will have to deal with. Chloe Erickson, Paul Minnick, and Matt McIntyre have joined Daniel Gilbert and DJ Kurtis on the inside line, 1 lap down. After that incident, it's a camshaft issue officially putting Christian Merrick Jr. out of the race. His teammate also out of the race, and Tripentacchio Vernio, as well as Alex Gray. We have 29 cars still on the lead lap, and we're going back green on lap 15. Good start by Carson Gum. He will clear the lap traffic. LaPlante trying to do the same. Carson Gum was able to get a nice jump, and he has set sail, at least for the moment. Best battle might be for second between teammates out of WG Motorsports. N Guenther to the bottom. And he will try and clear LaPlante out of 4. And he does. Now tucking up in front of his teammate. Nice crossover move there by LaPlante, though, going back to the inside line. Trying to take that spot away. And he's not going to be able to do it this time. Guenther hangs on, at least for the moment, but now slips up a little there in the center of the corner, and LaPlante will get on by. Capitalizes on the mistake. It's all going on behind Carson Gum, who's got to be loving the view. Look at this battle going on here. This is for the 5th position. Shears, Miller, Olson. This is a dogfight back here. Look at Daniel Olson going to drive it way down to the bottom. They're going to try going through wide again. Daniel Olson with a win this season last week at Orlando. Some newfound confidence for that 47 team. Oh my goodness, Phil Parker nearly turned Sean Henley. That was a close call. This is some doggone good racing. All for spots inside the main event for transfer positions. This is 5th, 6th, and 7th under contest right now. Woo! Contact right there between Dougie Shears and Daniel Olson. They keep it together, fortunately. 6th car is off the lead lap, P Minnick. So right now, Phil Parker is in possession of 5th. 6th place right now, Sean Henley, and Miller finally right now with the final transfer spot. But now Dougie Shears wants to get into this mix. And how about the guy who came into this race 1 point back, losing the points lead last week, Kev Shearer? He's now fought his way up, and currently last time by was scored the 11th position, so he's starting to work his way up into the top 10. Good run for him as he's trying to take the points lead back from Daniel Gilbert. Gilbert, we've already documented, is a lap down. Kev Shearer in a good position right now to try and take back the points lead here for the non-charter series. As we move back up to the front, Carson Gum about to encounter some traffic. Chelsea Bowles in the 56 just up ahead, and he's actually had a little bit of his advantage himself and LaPlante cut down, so we may have a battle for the lead momentarily here. Maybe a battle for third as well. Henry Nova has begun to reel in N Guenther for that spot. Caution! Caution is out again, and that's going to be a big break for Chelsea Bowles. If she can hold off Carson Gum, she'll still stay on the lead lap. Or maybe not. Carson Gum might think about putting her a lap down. Nope, can't make the move. So, oh boy, not again. Something in turn 1. Leaders, do not get involved, please. Oh no. Yikes. That's Caitlin Tsang smoking on the outside line there. And the 28. Whoa, 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 whoa. Chloe Erickson nearly turned N Guenther, and they got to let all these drivers that are on the lead lap get by. Those drivers are still racing back to the caution, I think. Carson Gum should be the leader. They're all going to have to let the 85 by, but there is Caitlin Tsang, and I think the engine has actually died on that car. There's not even any smoke anymore. So she might just be coasting. She might have had to shift it into neutral and just hope that it makes it back to the pit road. Boy, what a tough couple of weeks it's been for Caitlin Tsang. Almost was able to win 2 weeks ago at Kansas, got taken out. Wasn't really much of a factor in the Orlando race, and now finds herself damaged goods and wrecked, possibly out, well, more than likely out of the race here at Dover. Daniel Gilbert, a lot of damage on his National Guard Chevrolet as well. Points leader not getting a whole lot of love today at the Monster Mile. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened. Caution's out for the 3rd time here today at Dover. Oh, this was just outside of the top 10. This was somewhere between 15th and 20th position, this battle that was going on here. And they go 3 wide, and yeah, it looks like Zoerlein slid up off the corner and gets into Caitlin Tsang. Both cars down into the wall. Tsang with a tough hit. Thank heavens that's a safer barrier, but then typical Dover, the car's going to drift back up the racetrack here in 1. Elijah Gilbert is the car that's going to clobber her. Boy, it's been a tough couple of weeks for Gilbert as well. Oh, man, there's Cole Deaver, the Kansas race winner. He gets involved. Noah Cars is going to hit the 8. James Richardson just gets through. Becca Tellier is going to get a piece of this. Chris Dollerton possibly as well. There's Daniel Gilbert right there. He's going to get involved. They'll just start stacking up. Chloe Erickson just ran into the back of, I think that was Steven Gonzalez. And then here's where the scary thing is, and this is why I call this a short track, because of how quickly things can happen at the tail end of the field to the front of the field. You're going to see in just a moment coming into view, Carson Gum, Austin LaPlante, N Guenther, Henry Nova, all having to maneuver their way by these drivers who had not yet gotten their cars refired to drive away from this incident. Here they are, right here. And it's a wonder we didn't have them run into the back of Farrell or Deaver or Gilbert. Boy, Henry Nova stacked up right back there. Well, that put us under the caution for the 3rd time today. Let's go back for the restart. It's a race of attrition here at Dover. Well, under this third caution, the leaders came to pit road. So now, Austin LaPlante inherits the lead. His team got him off pit road first. Nick Guenther out in second, so it's WG Motorsports 1-2 at the moment. Henry Nova, Phil Parker, and Sean Henley will be the top 5. Ryan George in 6th. Carson Gum, his team really slow stop. He got him out in 7th. Jordan Lopez, Kev Shearer, and Daniel Olson will complete your top 10. Drivers out of the race after that incident include Cole Deaver, Caitlin Tsang, and Elijah Gilbert. Cole Deaver came into this race running very well in the point standings in 16th. Caitlin Tsang was 13th, and both of them going to take some hits in the point standings after this one. So let's see what LaPlante can do. He's been out in front already today, and now after pit stops, he's back out in front. Green flag back out on lap 27. There's 14 laps to go in this one. LaPlante is gone. Nick Guenther did not get going very well. Now there's a battle. I think this is actually for position between Chelsea Bowles and Paul Minnick, and that's going to create a wall of separation between LaPlante and Nick Guenther. Guenther not going to stand for it, though. Look at how aggressively he is trying to get by these lap machines. Phil Parker following his tire tracks, as is Sean Henley. Guenther might have a battle for second as Phil Parker gets a nice run through 3 and 4 and move Phil Parker to the second position. Fire Ice Racing with a win already this season in the non-charter series back at Bristol Dirt, courtesy of Zachary Stultz. Phil Parker would love to be able to be the second one. Right now, these drivers in good position to make it into the main event race for the Hersheys Cup Series in a couple of days. Battle for third. Sean Henley moving by Nick Guenther. Of course, we know Tweenix Racing's been having a lot of success over the Hersheys Cup Series main event races. Dylan Poteet last week taking his second win of the season and third win of the year for Tweenix Racing, as James McLeod has also found victory lanes this season. Sean Henley trying to carry over that momentum here in the non-charter series, and we could have a battle for the lead in just a minute here as we're hitting 10 laps to go. Phil Parker, that car strong here in the closing stages, and he is closing the gap between himself and LaPlante. He might be able to make a move here into 3 if he can get a good enough run, but LaPlante takes that inside line away, at least for the moment. Phil Parker's got a very strong Toyota Camry, and here he goes to the inside. The Carolina Nut. Toyota is going to go to the lead. Phil Parker, the new race leader here at Dover. Ryan George is now moved up to 4th. Nick Guenther on a free fall. Restarted in 2nd, now back to 5th. He doesn't want to lose too many more spots or else he's not going to take part in the main event. As Phil Parker shows the way. There is Guenther. He just actually lost another spot to Kev Shearer, and that dropped him back to 7th. So now Nick Guenther finds himself in the final transfer position, and he's got to try and hang on. 100 drivers behind him trying to get into the main event. Henry Nova, Alex Miller, Charles Jackson, Jordan Lopez. Kev Shearer up into 6th, so the 30 car will more than likely be the points leader heading into next week, and just trying to make yet another main event race, and I don't like the way this looks back here. Henry Nova having to back out. They were 3 wide, Nova, Lopez, and Zoerlein. And Nick Guenther's going to have to probably deal with Charles Jackson unless Jackson has to deal with Alex Miller in the closing stages of this race. Meanwhile, Phil Parker continues to show the way over LaPlante and Sean Henley. Henley's car was looking just about as strong as Phil Parker's, but now it seems like the top 3 are basically staying in the same positions with about the same space between them, so they all seem to be on level playing field right now. That could be the fact of with the grip going away, the tires are wearing down a bit, even though they all had just been to pit road, but maybe just trying to be a little bit conservative. They all know that they're going to make it into the main event if they can stay in the positions they're in, so that could be the strategy here for those drivers. But it's a shame that we don't get to see someone actually battle Phil Parker for this win. Phil Parker, I'm sure, doesn't feel that way, though. He's pretty happy to have this gap, and we may actually have a battle for second. It looked like Henley closed a little bit of a gap there on LaPlante. Sean Henley coming into this race is 14th in the point stand. It's been a pretty solid season for him so far. He hasn't found victory lane though. Phil Parker, on the other hand, coming into this race, he is 18th in the point standing. So this is going to be a great points day for him, as he's looking, as I said, to get his first win of the season in the non-charter series. 2 laps to go. I'm seeing traffic up ahead, but I don't think that he's going to catch that tail end of the field within these 2 laps. I don't see that happening. If he does, it'll be just at the start-finish line. Almost 7/10 of a second advantage last time by Phil Parker had, and that gap has not appeared to close. White flag displayed for Philip Parker. 4 more turns, and he's going to be headed for home for his first win of the season for the non-charter series, and as I stated, a slot in the Hersheys Cup Series All-Star race. Through 3 and 4. Pretty clean racetrack ahead, pretty clean racetrack behind. Phil Parker is going to win here today at Dover. LaPlante will get second. He will transfer through, along with Henley, Ryan George. Jonathan Zoerlein from out of nowhere is going to end up in 5th. So 2 of the Fire Ice Racing cars are going to transfer into the main event. Carson Gum will get 6th, and the final transfer spot will go to the new points leader, Kev Shearer. So those 7 will take part in the main event later on this week in the Hersheys Cup Series. Boy, N Guenther dropped like a rock in the closing stages. Restarted in the 2nd position and finishes the day out still solidly in the top 10, but it's not going to make the main event off of that. Alex Miller was 8th, and James Richardson, that was a pretty good comeback for Richardson, who started, I think, this race in the back of the pack. He'll get 9th here today. Jordan Lopez, Charles Jackson, last week's winner Daniel Olson, 2-time winner Cody Smart, and Dougie Shears were your top 15. Another driver that really fell back in the closing stages was Henry Nova. He will finish in 16th. Culpepper 17th, and Quentin Moore, Becca Tellier, and Chris Dollerton, your top 20. The rest of the cars finished on the lead lap were Zachary Stultz, Steven Gonzalez, Caleb Farrell, and Tyler Deaver. Daniel Gilbert came in as the points leader. He finishes a lap down in 25th, so he will lose the points lead to Kev Shearer. And there you see the drivers that finished off the lead lap, and then drivers out of the race were Cole Deaver, Caitlin Tsang, Elijah Gilbert, Christian Merrick Jr., Alex Gray, Tripataki Vernio, Stephen Pollard III, Trace Williams, J Cittadino, A Navarro, and Seth Cole. We ended up working 3 cautions during the course of this 40-lap event, which, to be perfectly honest, isn't that bad when you consider it being Dover. But Phil Parker will pick up his first win of the season here today at Dover, and we will see him along with the other 6 that finished in the top 7 in the main event. But first, the meat and the sandwich is the Pizza at X Series race. That'll be taking place here tomorrow at the Monster Mile, and then we cap it off with the running of our 12th race of the season for the Hersheys Cup Series main event. Thank you all for tuning to today's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a video, like, subscribe, and be part of the crew today. We've shown your full finish results. Here are your point standings heading into next week. Next week, we'll be going to Richmond. That'll be the final race of the first half of the regular season for these Hersheys Cup Series non-charter drivers. But till then, I'm Seth Cole signing off. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.